Ancient Egypt's trade networks were complex systems that facilitated the exchange of goods, culture, and ideas, both within the region and with distant lands. These networks were vital to Egypt's economy and development, making the civilization a hub of prosperity and cultural fusion. At its core, the trade network was defined by the movement of goods via the Nile River, which acted as a natural highway connecting Egypt to Africa, the Middle East, and the Mediterranean. The significance of these trade networks in the context of trading the Nile, ancient Egypt's global connections, cannot be overstated. They were instrumental in establishing Egypt's place in the ancient world, allowing it to exert influence far beyond its borders and to draw on a diverse range of resources and innovations. One specific example of Egypt's trade networks at work is the exchange of gold and ivory with Nubia, located to the south. This relationship was crucial, as Nubia supplied resources that were not available in the Nile Valley, supporting Egypt's status as a wealthy and powerful civilization. Another example is the maritime trade expeditions to the land of Punt, where Egyptians traded for incense, ebony, and exotic animals. These expeditions underscored Egypt's capability to engage in long-distance trade and helped integrate foreign luxury goods into Egyptian culture. Opinions supporting the idea that Egypt's trade networks were essential emphasized the notion that these connections were foundational to its technological and cultural advancements. Many historians argue that access to foreign materials and ideas, spurred by trade, was a driving force behind Egypt's architectural and artistic achievements. However, challenges and controversies surrounding these trade networks cannot be ignored. One potential challenge was the reliance on foreign goods, which could lead to vulnerabilities, such as disruptions due to political instability or resource scarcity. Additionally, some scholars debate the extent of Egyptian influence versus that of their trading partners, with arguments suggesting that Egypt was as much shaped by foreign cultures as it was shaping them. The trade networks of ancient Egypt were not isolated systems, but were deeply intertwined with other aspects of its civilization. They influenced social structures, with merchants and artisans gaining prominence due to their roles in facilitating trade. Moreover, these networks contributed to Egypt's global connections by enabling cultural exchanges, which in turn impacted everything from religion to technology. Through these multifaceted interactions, Egypt not only traded goods but also ideas, leaving a lasting legacy on the ancient world. Navigating the Nile, the lifeline of trade, introduces the crucial role of the Nile River as the primary artery of commerce in ancient Egypt. This concept underscores the Nile's significance as more than just a geographic feature. It was the backbone of Egyptian civilization and a catalyst for international trade. The river's reliable flooding patterns ensured fertile lands, thus enabling surplus agricultural production that could be traded. The Nile served as a natural highway, facilitating the transport of goods including grain, gold, papyrus, and flax, to and from regions as distant as the Mediterranean Levant and sub-Saharan Africa. The significance of the Nile as a lifeline for trade cannot be overstated. Its role in commerce helped to transform Egypt into an influential global power. The river's strategic importance supported economic prosperity and cultural exchange, allowing Egypt to establish connections with neighboring nations. Goods and ideas flowed along the river, helping to create a robust network of interactions that extended Egypt's influence across borders. One notable example illustrating the Nile's importance in trade is the exchange with the Kingdom of Punt, located in what is now modern-day Somalia and Eritrea. The Egyptians imported valuable commodities such as myrrh, incense, and exotic animals, which were not only used domestically but also traded further afield. Another example is the trade with the Levant, where the Egyptians exchanged grains and luxury goods for cedar wood, wine, and silver, showcasing the diversity of resources exchanged along this vital waterway. Experts often regard the Nile as the artery that pumped life into Egypt's trade networks, enabling it to become a hub of ancient commerce. However, the concept of relying heavily on a singular geographical feature also comes with challenges. The annual flooding, while generally beneficial, could be unpredictable, leading to years of drought or destructive inundations. This dependency on the river also meant that any political or environmental changes impacting the Nile could have far-reaching economic consequences. This idea of the Nile as a trade lifeline is closely tied to Egypt's external interactions. The river's facilitation of trade was essential in forging early globalization, allowing Egypt to import and export not just goods, but also culture, technology, and ideas, thereby influencing and being influenced by other civilizations. Understanding the Nile's pivotal role provides insight into the broader context of Egypt's global connections, highlighting how this natural resource was instrumental in shaping economic and cultural landscapes. In the context of trading the Nile, ancient Egypt's global connections, the concept of key goods and commodities of ancient Egyptian trade refers to the products that were integral to the economic exchanges between ancient Egypt and other civilizations. These goods were not only the backbone of the Egyptian economy, but also served as a vital link that connected Egypt to the rest of the ancient world. The significance of these commodities is profound. They facilitated cultural exchanges, diplomacy, and economic prosperity, ensuring Egypt's place as a significant power in the ancient world. Notably, the trade networks established through these goods helped disseminate Egyptian culture and influenced neighboring regions. Two quintessential examples of these key commodities are gold and papyrus. Gold, primarily mined in Nubia, was a cornerstone of Egypt's wealth and a symbol of its power. Its abundance allowed Egypt to engage in trade with numerous distant lands, exchanging gold for exotic goods and essential resources not found within its borders. Papyrus, on the other hand, was a unique and highly valued resource due to its use in creating paper, which was crucial for record-keeping and literature. This not only made papyrus an important trade item, but also facilitated the spread of Egyptian culture through written texts. Opinions supporting the importance of these trade goods highlight how they underpinned Egypt's economic strength and geopolitical influence. Trade allowed Egypt to acquire essential resources like cedarwood from Lebanon, necessary for shipbuilding, and lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, which was prized for its beauty and used in jewelry and decoration. These exchanges created interdependencies that often resulted in political alliances and cultural exchanges. However, there are challenges and controversies related to these trade connections. For instance, the reliance on trade for essential goods could make Egypt vulnerable to external disruptions, such as political instability or conflict along trade routes. Additionally, there's debate among scholars about the extent to which Egypt relied on trade versus self-sufficiency. This point about key goods and commodities is intricately linked to other aspects of Egypt's global connections. The wealth generated from trade allowed Egypt to fund monumental architecture like the pyramids and maintain a strong military presence, which in turn secured trade routes. Furthermore, the exchange of goods inevitably led to cultural exchanges, influencing everything from art and language to religious beliefs. Thus, the trade of key goods and commodities was not just a facet of economic activity, but a driving force behind Egypt's interactions and connections with the wider ancient world. Cultural and technological exchanges via the Nile trade routes delves into how the Nile River functioned as a conduit for the cross-pollination of ideas, customs, and customs and technological advancements between ancient Egypt and other civilizations. This exchange was facilitated by trade routes that stretched beyond Egypt's borders, allowing for the import and export of goods alongside intellectual and cultural exchange. The significance of this interaction is profound, as it helped shape the evolution of ancient Egyptian society, enriching it with new ideas, practices, and technologies that were vital for its development and resilience. One of the most illustrative examples of such exchanges is the introduction of the chariot and new military techniques from the Near East, which Egypt adopted and adapted to enhance its military prowess. Through these interactions, they not only acquired the technical know-how for chariot construction, but also evolved their warfare strategies, giving them an edge in battles and territorial expansions. Another example is the influence of the Phoenicians on Egyptian shipbuilding and navigation methods, which revolutionized their ability to traverse and trade over long distances, significantly extending their reach and impact. Proponents of the concept of cultural and technological exchange argue that these interactions were crucial for the dynamism and adaptability of ancient civilizations, fostering an environment where innovation could flourish. This is supported by evidence from archaeological finds and ancient texts that depict a vibrant exchange network across the region. However, it's also important to consider potential controversies associated with these exchanges. Some scholars argue that the integration of foreign elements sometimes led to cultural dilution and internal conflicts, as not all segments of society were open to external influences. Additionally, there's a debate about the extent to which these exchanges were reciprocal, with some historians questioning whether Egypt imposed its own culture on others more than it adopted foreign elements. This point is intrinsically linked to other aspects of the main topic, such as Egypt's economic network and political alliances, as cultural and technological exchanges often went hand in hand with economic and political negotiations. Understanding these exchanges offers a holistic view of ancient Egypt's global connections, illustrating how trade along the Nile was not just about economic gain, but also about the exchange of knowledge and culture that shaped the civilization's evolution and legacy.